I just finished photographing the cutest 11-week-old basset hound puppy out at this beautiful park, and I used a flash. Why? Monique Renee here, photographer at Silver Paw Studio, and on this channel I empower you to tell all of your tales with tales through photography and videography. Today let's talk about using a Speedlight, an off-camera flash, on location like this and why. If you saw my previous video where we scouted out locations for Cooper, the little basset hound puppy, you saw all the different lighting scenarios we were in. And I like to bring a flash on location just to add a little bit of sparkle in their eyes and a little bit of fill flash to their face without being super obvious. And a lot of times I'll bring my large Flashpoint lights, but I knew this was going to be a shorter session. We're going to do a couple of these puppy sessions, and this is one of my shorter session specials. So I wanted to be super light on my feet. I've got my wagon here to put everything in. So once this is all assembled, I just fold it and stick it in the wagon and we roll to the next location. So another great thing about going super light is that it's easy to carry around when you're out at places like this. Now, let me show you. If you've seen my lighting gear video here, you know what I have, but let me go over it again. This is a Flashpoint brand, like the Godox, and it's the Zoom R2. And this is for Sony, that's why the little S. And this one happens to have TTL. This is the flash, and this is the transmitter. This part goes on top of the camera. You need these two pieces, okay? But how in the world do you put this on this? That doesn't work, okay? And then how do you put, yeah. Oh goodness, that's not gonna work, right? So let's set aside the camera and the transmitter for a second. The transmitter goes right on top, actually. Here, we'll just do it. This is the same transmitter I use for the big studio lights. Same one, okay? Which is awesome. Now, to get this on the stick, the light stand with an umbrella, you only need this. This looks really weird. I think I've talked about it in a previous video. It's a little flash bracket. I think that's what it's called. And all it does is it secures a post on one end and your flash on the other, okay? But we're still missing something. How do we put this? This is not gonna stay on here, right? Like at all. This is what we do. You need to get a post. You need to get a post to put it on here. But there's no screw on the bottom of this flash. Some flashes do. I had a cheap flash once and this just screwed right onto the bottom. It was awesome. This doesn't. This flash came with a foot. You've seen me use this at the shelters, just on a shelf. But this foot has a 1/4-20 in it, which is great. Or you can also use, I've had this for years and years, this little type of foot. And I kind of like this because it doesn't take up all this space and the umbrella and everything can move around well. So this I'm going to use just slips on here, just as if you were slipping it into the hot shoe of your camera. Okay, same idea for this. This just feels a little more secure too, because we're out, it can get a little breezy, you know? And then you have to get one of these posts like this. I have a link I'll put in the description if you have a hard time finding this. And this, all you do is screw it in the bottom. Aha! Like so. What's awesome about that is now you have a spot to put it. Right? Like that. Okay, so we got the post on here. Perfect. Now, let's set up the light stand. Let me make sure you can see that in this frame. All right, now you can see the top. Now this does have a screw in, so you could just screw this right to it if you don't need an umbrella. You could just screw the top of this particular light stand. Check your light stands, they don't always have a 1/4-20 on the top. So what we're gonna do is, this bracket is always confusing to me, but what I want to do is make sure that the part that has 2 knobs is the top goes up. So this part goes on the bottom. Let me show you. So we're gonna put this in here, and then all we do is screw this on. And you can see how that's screwed into the post there. Then you can see we have another spot here, yeah, to put the flash in. Now let's think about what direction, because here's the other thing with this head. Let me take it off for a second, I'll show you. This piece here loosens so that it can swivel back and forth. That's so you can see which way your light's going. Now we're gonna do this, right? So we want this to go back and forth like that. Okay, we wanna make sure it goes back and forth like that. I'll show you why in just a second. So we're gonna screw it onto here again. All right, so now we've got it on there. Now, let's put it on here. All right, you can see that whole setup there. The last piece is the umbrella. Now the umbrella has a little hole right here. So this piece, that you slip this into, and then you tighten down that knob. Okay, now that umbrella is in there, it's in there. And so when you move the head, of this, the light moves with it. If you do it the opposite way, it won't move with it.
To demonstrate, I flipped the bracket upside down to show you the difference. I definitely suggest the first way. That is how it's meant to work. But it can work this way as well.
All right, so what we've done is this part. Let's loosen this. You can see the hinged part. That's where we want the umbrella if we want this flash to point straight in there. Let's tighten this, and so the flash is on this part.
You can see here how the flash moves, but the umbrella doesn't.
Kind of prefer the umbrella, this whole thing flipped over. So that's just me, but you can see how now you're on this flash stand, you can raise and lower. And this is a shoot-through umbrella. I just like that. I don't want it too directional or harsh. I want it to be real subtle. When I place this, it's just like placing it in the studio. I like it off to the side and up a little bit farther and pointing down. And all I really want is that to put that little bit of sparkle, a little bit of fill light on the face of whoever's in the image. This little umbrella stand works great for even a group of 3. I do try to bring my bigger stand, my bigger light, my bigger umbrella when I'm on location. That's really heavy. So if there's any wind, you better make sure that you've got a sandbag down here. Even this little setup can get blown over in the wind very easily. I've gone through a lot of umbrellas that way, and maybe a couple cheap flashes when the wind just catches it and the whole thing blows over. So be sure to consider that and put some kind of a sandbag here. One of my upcoming videos will be me retrofitting my wagon to hold my light stand. I'm pretty excited about this concept because my wagon has weight in it. It has my camera bag, it has other things. It's got 4 wheels, and so it's going to be much more stable. But if you don't have a stable system like that, just really be watching the forecast and the wind. Many times I even have one of the people with me hold on to it. So I do employ my clients oftentimes, or if I'm really lucky, I get to bring an assistant, and that assistant makes sure everything's in place and sturdy. So that's pretty much it. We don't need to really go over the settings of the camera. That really depends on where you're at, how much sun you're trying to overpower, and you're really not going to overpower the sun. You're going to add a little extra light in their eyes and their face. I think it super helps when I'm putting them in this shade, and I try to get shade behind them. It really helps for sure, and it just levels up your photography just that much. And this little setup is not expensive. If you already have a little Speedlight like this with the foot, all you need is the bracket, the post, and the light stand. And I'll have links to all this kind of stuff in the description too. All right, what did you think? Was that easier than you thought it would be? All those pieces sometimes look a little complex, but just try them out. Just do different configurations, get your Wiggles doll or a patient model and try different things. You could do this in your backyard, you can do this in an alley, you could do this, you can try this here or there, you could try this anywhere. Really, seriously though, try this at your shelters. This goes such a long way. Sometimes a room looks like it's well lit, but you really need an extra bit of light. Sometimes shelters have little alleyways and things, and if you can get that in the shade and pop a little bit of light in their face, nice, right? I hope this was informative and answers some of your questions about using off-camera flash on location. If you like this video, be sure to check out this video with Cooper the Basset as well as we check out locations around this park, hows and whys. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.